What are the top 5 riskiest, deadliest, dangerous jobs in America to get into? These are jobs that are in the blue collar world. The internet has their own top 5 list, and I have my own top 5 list. And my own top 5 list is in no particular order according to fatality rates or anything like that. These are just 5 trades that I personally think are risky, or I just wouldn't flat out want to do because it's not my cup of tea. And I think some of these people don't get paid nearly as much as they should for the crap that they have to deal with. Let's hop into the internet's top 5 list, and then we'll do my top 5 list. Before we get into the internet's top 5 list, I need you guys' quick opinion on this. Do Christmas trees need to be up before or after Thanksgiving? When should you start decorating for Christmas? My wife, she loves Christmas, so she wanted to put up a Christmas tree. We're not quite to Thanksgiving yet. We're still a little under a week out from Thanksgiving at the time of the recording of this video. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on what you guys think as far as getting ready for Christmas. Is that like something you start in November or December? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, so according to the internet, we're going to come in for the most deadliest, riskiest jobs in America. We're coming in number 1 with logging workers, fatality rate of approximately 82.2 deaths per 100,000 workers. Remember this number. Highest among all trades, the hazard being fallen trees, working with heavy equipment, working in rough terrain. It's a deadly job. Trust me, I know, because I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, where logging is probably one of the biggest industries, I should say, in the Northwest is logging. Number 2, fishing and hunting workers, fatality rate of 75.2 deaths per 100,000 workers. Hazards being harsh weather, dangerous equipment, drowning risk, and long hours on the water. Number 3, coming in as roofers, fatality rate of 59.3 deaths per 100,000 workers. Hazards, falls from heights, extreme heat, and exposure to hazardous materials. Number 4, aircraft pilots and flight engineers. The fatality rate for these guys, 48.6 deaths per 100,000 workers. And hazards are crashes during smaller scale flights, including crop dusting and private charters. Number 5, iron and steel workers, structural. Fatality rate of 36.4 deaths per 100,000 workers. Falls from heights, heavy machinery, and working with large moving steel beams. These numbers are from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics based on recent data. These are statistically the most dangerous trade jobs. A few of those trades, yes, those are on my list. A couple of those I didn't really ever think would be on a list. Either way, like, to me, those jobs aren't scary or really risky, even though statistically they are. To me, they aren't really that scary to me. So let's hop into my top 5 list for what I think are the scariest, riskiest, and most dangerous jobs in America. Coming in at number 1 for me is a office worker for corporate America. So I say this, working in a cubicle all day long, that's scary to me. That's risky business. I'm gonna have to sit there and work in a 5x5 cubicle. Don't even get to see the sunlight until my 12 to 12:30 lunch break, and then I have to start work at 9, get off at 5, hit rush hour traffic every single day, Monday through Friday. I got to look forward to the weekend. That sucks. That seems like misery to me. So that's scary. One of the top scariest jobs in America is corporate America, office job in a cubicle in a high-rise building in downtown city. Just kidding. So number 1 for me is going to be underwater welders. And I say underwater welders is because statistically it's not like obviously the top 5 most dangerous job. Statistically, the fatality rate is estimated to be 40 times higher than average across all industries. Approximately 13 fatalities per year occur among about 3,000 full-time underwater welders, translating to a rate of about 430 per 100,000 workers. Now, underwater welding is a very niche trade. These guys do get paid a lot of money. They get paid pretty good. However, the reason why I think underwater welding is so dangerous and scary, risky, is because I hate underwater. So I don't mind pools or like lakes or going in the shallow depths of the ocean. As soon as I'm in underwater and I can't see, 5-10 feet in front of me, that freaks me out. It's scary. Every time I see videos, like of underwater welders and what they're doing and where they're working out here and on these offshore oil rigs or wherever they're working and they have to weld underwater. That freaks me out. I would not do it. Not my cup of tea. So that's why I think it's one of the scariest and most dangerous and one of the riskiest jobs there is to do in the trade world. Now, this list I compiled is not statistically like, obviously the most dangerous jobs. These are just a top 5 list for me. The second one, or number 2, is iron workers. Now, statistically, like it was saying in there, iron workers, one of the top 5 most dangerous trades, according to the internet. Like I was saying, 36.4 deaths per 100,000 workers, falling and things like that. You're working with heights, heavy pieces of equipment, heavy material, long hours in the sun. Like it's a very risky, can be very dangerous, hard job to do. And that's why I think it's on my top 5 list. It's just because there's a lot of safety aspects that comes to being an iron worker. Obviously in the 1900s, when they first started building these high-rise buildings in like the East Coast over there in New York and whatnot, they had a pretty high fatality rate per week. And obviously as OSHA came into it, they started there's a lot of safety regulations, fault protection, and all that kind of stuff. So now that number has decreased significantly for a reason, but regardless, it's still a pretty sketchy job to work in. Number 3, I have linemen. That's the trade I work in now. I'm a journeyman lineman. The reason why lineman is, it's not a scary trade to me. I just think it's a very dangerous job. It can be a very risky job. You're messing with high voltage electricity. You're working on heights. You're working around heavy pieces of machinery and equipment, pinch points, things that can fall on you. Like there's a lot of like different variables inside the lineman trade are very risky. That's why that is on my top 5 list. Let's move on to the 4th one. Now, the 4th one is going to be first responders, cops, firefighters, wildland firefighters. These guys, their job is just like so risky because they don't know what they're getting into. Cops, you pull someone over, you don't know who you pulled over, what kind of person they are. Like you're always going into a situation blind. You just never know what you're getting into. I don't like that. I personally wouldn't do that. Cops don't get paid near enough money. I think they should be paid more for the crap that they have to deal with. Firefighters, kind of in the same position where you're showing up to a scene where a building's on fire or a car's on fire, something's on fire. You don't know what kind of situation you're walking into. Very dangerous, very risky. This also is wildland firefighters. Same thing, man. Smoke jumpers and things like that. Man, you guys do not get paid enough money. The hard work that you guys have to do, it's insane to me. You guys are dropped off in the middle of nowhere with just a backpack and an axe and some water and just survive. It's pretty crazy. So hats off to all first responders, cops, wildland firefighters, because you guys have a very risky job. Do not get paid enough to do what you do. So my 5th one, which was the number 1 pick for the internet's top 5, is loggers, tree trimmers. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. So like I was saying, logging is a massive industry. It's a very dangerous industry to work in. You're working with heavy pieces of machinery on terrain up, literally vertically up, straight up and down. You're cutting down these big trees. I don't know if you've ever heard of like what a barber chair is or what they call widow makers, but where trees break, they split and they kill the person cutting the tree. It's just, you're out working in the woods in the middle of nowhere. There's just a lot of dangerous factors that are involved with working in that sort of environment. If you've never seen logging or if you've never seen the show, I think it's called Axemen on Discovery, check it out because you'll see what it's like to be a logger, and it's insane work. Logging is a very dangerous trade, very dangerous industry to work in. There is my top 5 list in the internet's top 5 list of the most dangerous trades to get into. If you are someone who is adrenaline junkie or loves the risk of life, check out one of those trades. That might be a perfect fit for you. It's kind of why I got into the lineman trade, was because I'm an adrenaline junkie. I like heights. Electricity doesn't scare me. So I was like, yeah, let me get into a trade like that because they get paid good. It's a great career and nothing about that trade scares me. But I realized since I've been working in it, how many different risky things are in this trade, or dangerous things that can kill you pretty quickly, pretty easily. I've seen firsthand, or things that have happened to me that I realized, yeah, this trade is not for everyone. This is a very niche, small trade. So if heights and electricity scare you, definitely stay away from that trade. But if you are someone who's looking for a risky trade to get into, check out one of those top five that I provided. If any of you guys are looking, hey, what kind of trade should I get into, or searching for different career paths in the blue collar world, go to our website, bluecollaredu.com. I'll have a link in the description below as well, where you can go check out different careers. You can take a free trade quiz, which is going to give you a pretty good answer based off answering a handful of questions, and you'll get an answer about maybe a trade that you should pursue or is a good fit for you. So if you want to check any of that stuff out, go to the website, bluecollaredu.com. Hopefully you guys can enjoy this video with Blue Collar EDU. I'm here to expose, teach, educate you about blue collar career opportunities and how to get started in those careers. With that being said, I'll catch you on the next one.